From the studios of the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, welcome to Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.
Good day and welcome to Prime Minister Talks. I'm Silveria Jacobs, Prime Minister of St. Martin, using this platform to bring much needed information to the people of St. Martin in a more relaxed atmosphere. So today I have a guest. Today is season 2, episode 9, and my guest today is Dr. Ife Badejo, who recently received an honorary doctorate of humanities degree from the United Graduate College and Seminary International in June, so just a month ago, 2021. Welcome, Ife, to Prime Minister Talks. It's not your first time, but it's a pleasure, as always, to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister, for having me. Thank you so much to the audience and to St. Martin for being a part of this journey. It was an extraordinary experience having to share this opportunity also with my mom, Dr. Anders Linda Richardson, who also got an honorary doctorate on the same day. So it was a mother and daughter experience, and it was a true honor. We definitely put St. Martin on the map for sure.
Wow, I have seen the letter that you received, and this is a institution that does this, looks out for people who are doing great things, and you being from such a small island, being recognized on this level, it is an honor indeed for St. Martin. So once again, congratulations to you and to your mom, of course, Dr. Anders Linda Richardson. Many would not know, but she served also as our Minister of Education when we were still in the Netherlands Antilles. So one of our first females in power, and we are very, very proud of her and of you as her offspring. I think she's done an excellent job in the mothering department as well, ensuring to have productive citizens taking part in our society. So you are also an entrepreneur right here on St. Martin. You have a vision that has impacted many. What is the state of entrepreneurship from your perspective on St. Martin?
Wow, that's a very loaded question, PM, if I may, because of the dynamism, because of what's happening around the world. The state of entrepreneurship on St. Martin is exciting. It's dynamic. There's a lot of opportunities, and I am very excited to see so many different entrepreneurs doing a variety of amazing products and services, everything from the tech space to the agriculture space to the creative space. There's so many opportunities and so many people leveraging those opportunities right now. However, because we're on St. Martin, there are some significant challenges. And one of those main challenges is being able to accept digital payments. I have been talking about this for the past 3-4 years now. I know that there's more eyes dedicated to it right now. I know that the central bank is also focused on it, and that there are some other leaders that have now started to focus on this. But if we don't solve this one particular problem, we will be in a state that is not as promising. The world is moving fast and it's moving forward, and much of that is happening in the digital space. And small is the new big. So we're not trying to compete with the big countries and do infrastructure that needs, 10 of St. Martin's land in order to get it done. We just need the connectivity of internet and being able to receive online payment.
So that is something I know that our Minister of Finance has on his high on his agenda. And of course, since I'm in my ministry, the ministry I lead, General Affairs also has ICT and several other services that we want to get online as well. We know it's a work in progress, and it's part of the resilience projects that we are currently working on. I know the minister has announced, and as soon as he gets one other aspect up that can be paid online, and that's directly to us. But you're talking about international, because maybe for the listener or the viewer that doesn't understand, why would having an internet connection and being able to make payments online be important for an entrepreneur in today's world?
Wow. So let me give some statistics, and then I'll give I'll paint a picture, if you would allow me. So here are some statistics. In August of 2019, the digital economy was 2.9 trillion US dollars. That's not million, that's not billion, that's trillion US dollars. In the second half of 2020, when everything went online forced due to the global pandemic, it quintupled to 11.4 trillion US dollars. Without a pandemic, it would have grown to 4.7 trillion US dollars. And all that is needed is connectivity and your mobile device or your laptop. So going online is where we already are, right? So those are just some of the statistics. We are seeking a couple of million guilders to be able to survive. And imagine if you had 1,000 entrepreneurs making anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000 a month online and able to sow back into this economy, not so into the US or Europe or wherever they have their account to be able to do the business online. Imagine what that would mean for tax. Imagine what that would mean for supermarkets, for movies, for rental companies, for staycations. Imagine what that would mean for education and being able to now really sow into the causes that are dear to our people's heart. We are natural social entrepreneurs. We want to do good and do well. And so let me paint the picture. If I'm home and I can't move anywhere, which is still the case for many countries around the world due to the global pandemic, where do I order food? Where do I order groceries? Where do I order clothes? Where do I pay my bills? Where do I get different kinds of technology that's needed or tools that are needed to run my business and my home? It's more than likely online. And so even for the tourist, say the world did not have a global pandemic, where would the tourist go to find out what hotel to stay at, which restaurant to eat at, what activity they could do at the beach, what activity that they could do in the hills? Where would they find that information? It is 99.9% online. And so if we're not engaged online, we have no economy, to be very frank.
Wow, indeed. What you're saying is quite true. I must say, as government, we recognize the necessity for us to focus on building entrepreneurs, getting entrepreneurs busy. I remember during the pandemic being very vocal about that. Look, this is your opportunity. If you're out of a job, find your passion, start on your business plan, etc. And that's what we're going to get back into in our second segment. We're down to the last few seconds of this one. And I want to jump into opportunities that are here now, right now, that can help entrepreneurs get started. Stay tuned. You're watching Prime Minister Talks, and we'll be right back.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.
Hey!
Hey, what's up?
Girl, I heard you moved.
Yeah, I have, but I haven't reached the civil registry to change my address yet.
Did you know according to the law, you have 5 working days to change your address after moving?
The changing of address can be done in 2 ways. 1, making an appointment where you appear in person at the civil registry. 2, sending an email to burkazakan@stmartingov.org. What is required to change your address? A valid identification such as a passport, ID card, or driver's license. The deed of property if you're the owner, a lease agreement if you're renting, a GB utility bill, or the permission form from the landlord or property owner, including their identification. Who can change an address? A person who is 18 years or older. For minors, both parents have to give consent. Failure to register your change of address can result in a fine. For more information, please contact the Civil Registry Department at 721-542-0652 or email us at burkazakan@stmartingov.org. We are located at the Government Administration Building, Swaliga Road, number 1, Phillipsburg, St. Martin.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.
Welcome back to Prime Minister Talks. I'm Silveria Jacobs, Prime Minister of St. Martin, and with me I have Dr. Badejo. who is a humanitarian. That's what she got her doctorate in, humanities. I'm very, very proud of her. She's also the CEO, I would say, of PWR Agency, Power Agency. And today we're having a discussion on entrepreneurship on St. Martin. And we'll get, of course, into what IFE is doing where that's concerned. But we have been, at St. Martin, promoting that entrepreneurs get themselves regulated. If you have a dream, go for it, especially if you are now unfortunate enough to be out of a job. Instead of waiting to be employed, create employment for others, especially if you have that dream, you have that goal. We mentioned some of the, if you mentioned some of the, let's say, challenges, especially if you want to go global, to have that internet connection, and also even on island to be able to make payments, seeing that, we were in the midst of COVID. We're making some strides there, but we still have a long way to go. The NRPB, which is funded through monies that have been received by the Netherlands, has also established that ESP project, Enterprise Support Project, and some 55 small businesses have already been approved. So that's great news. 55 businesses that will be starting up or continuing expanding what they already had, and that's great news for St. Martin. So what do you see as ways that we can get more persons willing to take that leap into entrepreneurship?
Well, entrepreneurship is not necessarily for everyone. It takes a very particular type of person to be able to risk it all, really, to be able to create something out of nothing, to be able to do so with very little resources and support, to be able to, suck salt, for lack of a better term, on the island saying, when you have to go through some really tough times, and still continue to do so consistently, effectively, with the same level of passion and drive. So I would say that everyone needs to be entrepreneurial, because you need to be able to at least survive in rough times, right? And what that looks like to me is based on the definition of what an entrepreneur is. Someone who is seeking opportunities beyond the resources they currently control. That is coming from Dr. Stephen of Harvard University. And so if you are seeking opportunities beyond the resources you currently control, then you're operating in that moment as an entrepreneur. And so being innovative, being creative, daring to go beyond your comfort zone, looking fear in its face and saying, I'm not going to allow you to intimidate me. I'm going to continue moving on. I like to call it being your David in your David and Goliath story. So it's really important for everyone to develop that internal resilience, because it's necessary. From the perspective of entrepreneurs, some of the opportunities are in the digital space because it's affordable. You don't need a whole bunch of money to start your business if you're doing it in the digital space. And some ways of doing that, and people come to me and say, but Ife, I'm a cook. What does that look like in the digital space? Well, you would be surprised how many people would pay you for recipes, pay you for online courses, pay you to learn more about island cuisine. You would be surprised how many people will just take out their credit card and give you whatever money that you need in order to just do that. And so it's very important that we don't limit the way we see business, but we really get creative in the business space and look for the opportunities that are right in front of us.
Okay, so I talked a little bit about power, and you mentioned your David and Goliath story. And I know you've been doing that for a while. I think you were at PSVE. I remember the first time when I had a conversation with you, and you were so amazed at the entrepreneurship, the mindset of some of the students there who had some skill or some talent, and they could turn their hand, as we used to say. They can make $1 to 50 cents. They were trading, they were doing different things. And I think this is something we talked about, of it being taught in school, that, a real life skill. And I think that's something we still haven't necessarily put in our curriculum, but needs to be there. But how do you, with your business, assist entrepreneurs, or what is an islandpreneur?
So with the Power Agency, and PWR, it stands for Produce Wealth Revolution Agency. With the Power Agency, we work on projects to stimulate entrepreneurship. So we worked with Red Cross and facilitated a program for their beneficiaries to teach them entrepreneurship and give them entrepreneurial skill set and develop their entrepreneurial skills. So that's part of what we do. We also do coaching courses, and we do really cool projects that bring amazing stakeholders together. Last year, we did a pitch competition, of which you opened our pitch competition. So thank you so much for your words of that time. They still ring in my head to this day. And so we work together with local, regional, and global partners to do projects that help to support and build entrepreneurs. The Islandpreneur is very simple. If you're on an island and you want to be an entrepreneur, guess what? You're an islandpreneur. And it's a very simple concept, but it is so simple that I did not realize how powerful it would be in its simplicity. So last year when we launched Islandpreneur Live, we had more than 650 registrants from 35 different countries around the world. This year we had Microsoft as one of our keynotes, and a representative from Facebook, my dear lovely baby sister, who's the data science manager at Facebook, to share on innovation. And so we do those kinds of workshops, webinars, events, projects to support entrepreneurship and innovation development. We don't want to help you be an entrepreneur from the 1980s, because that doesn't work in 2021. We want you to become the best entrepreneur now so that you can build a legacy in the future for yourself, for the community, and of course for St. Martin.
Yes, indeed. I don't know if, sometimes I'm fearful that when you use these types of words, people don't find themselves in it. And you mentioned in the beginning different types. So things I wanted to highlight were, you mentioned someone who can cook. We're talking about bakers who can make special jewelry, art, even people, because I remember when I was a teacher that I did a lot of after school programs with kids. So even teachers can become islandpreneurs or entrepreneurs.
That's right.
Teach, if you're great at math, create a whole series around a topic that you can create and sell. So there's so much out there. What are you passionate about? I know when I'm done with this job, I'm definitely going to have to start something, because I'm crazy about doing motivational speaking, writing, etc. And I need to learn how to market myself. So when we come back, what I want you to go into a little bit more is, what are some of the other skills other than your talent that you need to have to be able to have a sustainable and viable business? We'll be right back. This is Prime Minister Talks.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.
Are you planning on getting married? When getting married on St. Martin, you have to submit a marriage intention by the civil registry. This can only be done by two persons of opposite sex. This request, whether in person or in writing, must be submitted at least 14 days before the date of marriage. During that time, the civil registry verifies the marital status of each individual getting married. If the marriage does not take place within 1 year, the marriage intention process has to start over. The following documents needed are a detailed birth certificate. Unmarried persons must present a declaration of marital status. If widow, a death certificate. If divorced, a divorce certificate. All documents must be originals, not older than 3 years, and may require legalization. Additional information and documents needed are passport copies of the bride, groom, and witnesses. All foreign documents must be translated in Dutch or English. The price for contracting marriage depends on your choice of location and day of the ceremony, whether at the marriage hall or away from the marriage hall, and will be minimum 315 guilders or maximum 725 guilders. Non-Dutch nationals requires attending an interview at the immigration department. Marriages will be performed after all documents are found correct by the civil registrar. The law separates church from state. Witnesses are minimum 2 and maximum 6. Please contact the Civil Registry Department for more information before planning your marriage.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.
Welcome back to Prime Minister Talks, and we're here today with Ife Badejo, Dr. Ife Badejo, who is the CEO of Power Agency, PWR, and we're talking about entrepreneurship, and specifically her brand of entrepreneurship, the Islandpreneur, which is our people. And I also mentioned that the NRPB has recently announced that 55 new small businesses have been approved, and they're rolling their plans out. But some of the challenges that I've seen them have and why it's taking this long is many of the entrepreneurs to be, while you have a dream, while you have an idea, you have a marketable skill, you actually have little to no actual business acumen. What role would you play in helping any entrepreneur that has an idea and wants to expand on it and make money from it? How would you go about assisting them?
So one of the tools that we use is called the Lean Model Canvas. That's for startups. And then we use the Business Model Canvas for those that are a little bit more established. And both of them have 9 components of your business. If you're starting up, the first question is, what problem are you solving? And you would be surprised how many people don't know the problem they solve. If you don't know the problem that you solve, then you don't know who you're serving. You don't know how much it will cost to serve them. You don't know how to reach these people. You don't know what makes you different in the market from everybody else. What is the thing, your unfair advantage that nobody else can copy? You don't know who partners you need to connect with or resources that you need to connect to ensure that you're solving the problem for these people. So we really hone in on those kinds of topics and really help them think through their business. Even before the business plan, really and truly, it's a one-page business plan. That's what it's been designed for. I did not create it. People who are much smarter than me did. This has been taught at universities. This has been taught at graduate level, PhD level. But oftentimes our entrepreneurs just know, listen, I have a dream, I have a skill, and let me see how I can monetize. And until you're building out the system of your business, you're hustling. And so we help them think through their business so that they can build that system and create a solid foundation.
And how many, let's say you mentioned that you did your webinar and you have reach all around the world. Over the course of your business life, with this specific one, how many, let's say, have you touched within St. Martin and the region, for instance, or
wow,
all over?
So practically, if I combine the Caribbean Innovation Challenge, where we also hosted in collaboration with Mercy Corps, Micromentor, and Bacardi, we were able to give $37,000 out to 15 entrepreneurs. 49, I believe, had applied to that program. With the Red Cross, we had about 50 entrepreneurs that we worked with. Almost all 50 got $1,000 as startup at the end based on their pitch and business display. And we designed that program, executed that program, and advised on that program. And so that would be roughly another $40,000 to $50,000 for 50 entrepreneurs. And that's just the most tangible that I could point to. However, in the past 2 to 3 years, I can easily say upward of 300-400 on the island.
Wow, that's really good. And I know there are many out there who are still on the fence about going after their dream. And I really want to encourage them. I want to encourage them to look up people like you, Ife, and others who are out there, because you've mentioned during our break that you also have resources for the parts that you do not do. So for instance,
yes.
What are the things that you would pull in other professionals to help in a certain case with?
I'm not an accountant. Disclaimer number 1. So I work with accountants, and I can tell you which ones are really good and awesome and will get the job done at an affordable price. Some of them we have a relationship with as in we're helping to build each other's business. But most of them, I just know that they're good, and I will want you to have really good resources. So that's how we work for most part. We also work with another person to do business planning, because business planning takes so much time and energy. And if it's going to be done right, you really need to do the research. And so that is done elsewhere. For some areas of marketing and branding, we forward that over to someone else as well. Some of it can be done in-house. We do a lot of our own PR, so oftentimes we get asked to do PR work. That's not a problem, or advise on PR. But when it comes to really technical parts of the marketing and branding aspect, we work with others. And so we're creating a community. We're creating a network of islandpreneurs on St. Martin, in the region and around the world. Today alone, I spoke with students at NATO University, guest lecturing on what it means to build a global business on an island. And that is one of the things that we're looking at. How can they be a part and give their resources to startups on a volunteer basis? We've done different kinds of work like that with other universities in the US. So we're continuously building this out.
Well, I must say that for those who are hearing this for the first time, this is a great opportunity to get in touch with you, see where they are in terms of their startup, or if they are stuck in a business that they've already started and can't see how to actually make it work. Definitely some of us don't have the business side of it. You only have maybe the talent. And definitely you need some advice where that is concerned. But I guess with today's technology also, once you've gotten it set up, you would be able to then move on. I think a lot of what we do, people hustle, as you say, to make a little extra change. But for instance, the reality of the taxes that you have to pay, and the reality of the social premiums if you actually have persons working for you, even if it's part-time, what are the rules, what are the regulations? These are all things that I think we need to spend a little bit of time on to make sure that the general public knows, so that when you start, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, administration is crucial. Administration is the skeleton of your business, and you need to have the experts to help you build the right skeleton so that you have the right kind of support so that your business can thrive and grow and continue to do so. And they are amazing, talented experts on this island. We specialize in helping you really synthesize what is your gift, how can you monetize, and then how can you leverage that and go digital and global? That is where we spend much of our time, because quite honestly, that's what we see as resilience. In a hurricane season and with everything that's going on, if you're not online, we don't see how you can build a resilient business. So that's our aim ultimately.
Wow, Ife, I didn't even get a chance to ask you to do some last words. We're down to the last seconds, but we're definitely going to have you come back and structure it so that we have that time specific for you to close off. This has been Prime Minister Talks. We've been talking to Dr. Ife Badejo, recently awarded this honorary doctorate, which we're very, very proud of at St. Martin, putting us on the map again. But for me, more importantly, being able to have the validity to put all those entrepreneurs who want to be valid and make good money on this island on the map as well. So until next time, this has been Prime Minister Talks. I'm Silveria Jacobs.